Hi everyone, welcome to Stop Talking, Start Communicating. Before we get started, let's practice using that by sharing some of your biggest communication challenges when it comes to implementing new processes. Please let us know in the chat. The chat feature is on the right side of the screen, so leave some message there on your biggest communication challenges. Okay, I don't see anything popping up yet in the chat, so I think it's better to get started. We're joined today by members of the Scribbles team, Dr. Bridget Jones, Dr. Christine Davis, Matt Smith, and Tommy Strozas. Bridget, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Myra, and welcome everybody to our session about communicating with families and getting your process off the ground. So, Christine, Davis, Maz, and Tommy, I love working with them because they truly care about our clients, really dive in and listen to the questions and the concerns that they have. So I thought they were the perfect people to ask some questions to you about what's happening at other districts. What are things that other districts are doing that are pretty unique, and how can we at Scribbles help you, our partners, communicate and engage with their families a little bit better. So the first thing is that communication piece, right? So we were saying stop talking and start communicating. So we can talk at people all day long, but that doesn't mean that they're going to listen or hear what we're saying. So keeping things really clear, concise, and consistent are the main goals. So even in our communication and what we try and relate to districts is anytime you have a big block of words or you have a big statement you want to put out, unless it's like legal or like a complete necessity, we try and advise you to pare that down a little bit because people tend to not want to read that many words unless it's like a legally binding contract. So keeping things very clear, concise, and consistent. And we feel like Scribbles has become a very go-to product and tool for school districts. And that when somebody gets something from Scribbles, they know, okay, this is important. This is for my child's education. So that's what we're going to try and relay today and try and communicate with you rather than just talk at you for 30 minutes to an hour. We want to communicate with you as well. So if you have questions, please add them to the chat or even just comments. Please make sure to add those to the chat and we will definitely address those. So I'm going to just kind of put out some questions to our experts, Christine, Maz, and Tommy. And anybody feel free to answer this first question. It's about marketing and how do our districts use ScribChoice, the tool, ScribChoice, the application, to market to their programs and opportunities?
Let's jump in first. I'll jump in first. Welcome everybody. As Bridget said, my name is Matt Smith. I'm one of the project managers here with Scribbles. Been here for a little over a year now. One of my first clients that I really worked with a good amount when I started is Gaston County. Since I'm here in Charlotte, they're just 30 minutes down the road from me here. One thing that I do like, and since we are close by to them, that we're able to work very closely with our clients down at Gaston County, and they offer a choice fair when it is ready for choice season. So they will have they do one in February, one in March, where they allow all their parents to come in, and they'll have booths set up for all their different programs. And we also help attend there. So it's great because we actually are able to communicate and work closely with not only the staff at Gaston County, but we also are able to connect with the parents and help them register their students for those courses, speak with them a little bit more about the programs that are available to all their students. So I think that is one great thing that Gaston County does do, and having the ability for us to be close by to them, we can work with them to do that. We also are going to be for Winston-Salem, Forsyth County Schools. We have their choice and magnet programs coming up here in November. we're going to be looking at doing sort of somewhat similar to what is available on the ScribOrder side. We're going to do a little QR code and provide a little template to them to hand out to their parents. So essentially, they can put this on flyers to hand out to students and take these home so parents can easily access ScribChoice and go ahead and go right into the program and apply for all the programs that are available to their children. So those are two examples for how districts around here are using ScribChoice to market their programs and opportunities available to their families.
The QR code is a really interesting piece. So you put that like on a flyer, and then all the family would have to do is put their phone up to the camera, and then it would take them right to the application. So there is no typing in, no having to remember or find the email or the web address. That's definitely really helpful. Some of our districts that live a little bit farther away that we don't get to work with as hands-on or directly have hours where they'll have their families have like support sessions. So they'll say, hey, come on in, ask us any questions on this day from this time to this time. I think in Maryland, we have a couple of clients that do that for families as well. And that's much more accessible to families as well if they can't make it to like a physical choice fair. So that's an option. And always remember that we have our support team too for technical questions that families may have. They can always go to our website at scribsoft.com, and there's that little chat icon at the very bottom right of the corner, and families, direct them there. Say, we are happy to answer any questions about our programs, but Scribbles takes care of the technical issues with the application if you have questions about that. You guys have anybody else want to chime in about how our districts market?
Sure. Kind of similar post-COVID that Maz explained with a choice fair. And hi, everybody from Florida. Just been through some issues that remind us how important technology is to us. But one of the things some of our districts do is similar to what we're doing now is an electronic version of a fair. So they will have certain nights, certain days where they've asked their schools to be represented online, and they market those out to families. So in Brevard, which is a very long and narrow district, it's not possible for someone who lives in the north end to travel, let's say, to the south end just to attend a fair. So they put these virtual online that they could do at other times. And they're offered at different times of the day. So evenings or mornings, afternoons, they do that as well. The other thing they do is during those fairs or one-on-one at schools, their actual site is set up so that it's by school. And then once you click on the school, all of the opportunities open up. So one high school may have 5 career and technical education programs. It may have an IB program, plus your open choice that just somebody transferring in and out. So when the parent goes to that school, it opens up and they're able to see all those opportunities at that school. And then they have a link next to that opportunity so that if they wanted some more information on career technical opportunities, they could click on that link, go to the district's website or to a description that opens up.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's pretty amazing how many programs can be at one school, and families may not even know unless they're drawn to something that that shares that information. Feel free, for those in attendance in this session, if you have a great idea, if your district does something or you've heard of something, this is a great time to network and to share with others good best practices, probably not good best practices, but just best practices that we can take back to our districts and utilize, start to implement. Okay. Our next question is about auditions. So I think this is one of the coolest features of ScribChoice. And I know that this was a lot of work for our team, internal team, to create and build out. And we have some districts that are utilizing it really, really well, and it's going great. So can you tell us about the audition feature and how it's really helpful?
I'll take this one if you guys can hear me, Bridget.
We can hear you.
So the audition feature is really, really awesome. Essentially, what it does is it eliminates the need to have outside scheduling. In other words, a lot of programs, especially visual performing arts and those types of things, require auditions and or interviews. Some call them interviews, some call them auditions. And what it does in the system is it allows a person to offer the family the ability to schedule their auditions. So they would be going through their application. Once they approve the application, they are then able to offer an audition. So what happens is the parent logs into the family dashboard, and now they have the ability to actually see a schedule and schedule their audition and or interview right there from their family dashboard. They don't have to go anywhere else to, they don't have to make a phone call to do any kind of scheduling. They don't have to use any of their calendars. They go right there within our app, within the family dashboard. They choose their time and their date of audition and or interview, and it's scheduled, and they're done. They will receive communication letting them know when what interview slot they've chosen, and that allows them to kind of just keep everything within the system. Now, on the back end, it's also really cool because, again, the school districts, they don't have to use anything outside of our system. They can go to a single place and they can see a list of all of these slots, everybody that's going to attend, along with the application number as well. So what the person at the district can do, the interviewer, they can pull up our app, they can have their little calendar, their list right in front of them, and then they will be able to click on the order number and have that up as they're doing auditions, be it in person or virtual. Now, that's another thing that we also have as well. We have the ability to do virtual auditions. So we have essentially Zoom capabilities within the app that a family can not only schedule their audition, but they can also do it from home right there in their house with video capabilities and all that good stuff right within the app. So the parent is on their family dashboard and the school district is on their processing side, and they're doing the interview just right there over the web. It records the interview and attaches it to the application as well, so that can be reviewed at a later date. So it's a really super cool feature. The video portion is really what I love the most because that really came out of the COVID situation, and it really helped a lot of our clients, maintain social distancing while doing interviews and things like that for programs. So that's really cool.
That is really cool. And I know a lot of our districts, our pre-K districts, our pre-K program districts or partners have really latched on to that because of the auditions. I guess it's not auditions, right? But it's interviewing students and understanding where they're at in their learning journey. So that's, and just think, you don't have to have a ton of people coming into a building at one time and finding space and chairs and rooms, and you can do it all virtually. So that definitely alleviates some of the learning spaces within our schools as well. So that's helpful. Anybody else have anything to add about the auditions or the interview capability?
I think Tommy covered it pretty great there. I mean, really all the different features with it. And the nice thing is, the school district provides us with their schedule of availability. So whenever your staff is going to have people available for those schedules, they provide us to our team what that availability is. And when they offer those appointments to the parents will receive an email letting them know, there's an appointment available. And then based off of all those time slots, the parents can then go in and select the time that best suits them. So it really works out for, the staff being able to schedule that or provide us with that schedule. And depending on those, works best for the parent and their availability. So it's a really great feature. Palm Beach, who's going to be actually going live here in November, one of our newer clients, they'll be using that for their arts programs as well that have those auditions to get into those sort of programs like music, band, dance, and those sort of things. So it's a really great feature that our clients are starting to really enjoy.
That's a good point. It's a really good point. And you think about for some students, it's the first audition that they've ever done. And if they could do it in the comfort of their home and yet do it online, there's like that balance of, hey, this is uncomfortable, but I can do it because I'm in a safer place. It may help them too in how they feel, with their anxiety and stuff like that. So it is really a helpful feature. What about our next question is about updates. So we were talking about not talking at parents, but communicating. So how do text and emails, how can they best be utilized? Because we all know we can get inundated with both of those.
I'll jump in. All right. So text message and email notifications for me are one of the key features that we utilize for communication being sent out to all your parents for application status updates. Because parents are always wondering what the status is on their parent or their son or daughter's application. And in my opinion, they're best utilized when it comes to the choice season and the lottery process. So within the lottery process, once seats are offered to students, we can set notifications to go out, what we call as rolling emails. So essentially, you guys would provide us with a certain period of days that you would like that seat offer email to go out. So we'll just say, for simplicity's sake, you want the email to go out rolling for 5 days. So we set that up in on the backside, and that email, the seat offer email, will go out to the parent for 5 days unless they go in and accept or reject that seat offer. Now, once they accept or reject, the email will stop going out. They also do receive a text message as well, as long as the parent opts in to receiving those text messages. And you actually also have the ability to set up a phone call message as well. But essentially, they have those 5 days to accept or reject it. After that, you guys can then go in and expire those seats that were not accepted or rejected by a parent, and begin to offer seats to the next set of students on the wait list. So I think that's the best way that the text and emails are utilized within that choice and lottery season, because you don't have to worry about going in and constantly sending the emails and text messages out. They'll be set up automatically for the parents until they do go in and accept or reject those. So I think that's the best way that text and emails are utilized within our system.
Yeah, that's a great point, Maz. I want to add one thing as well on the enrollment side. One of the big things for enrollment is getting a lot of different types of document uploads from parents for their children. They generally have between 5 and 7 uploads that they have to do. And so what happens whenever a parent places an application for enrollment, that we utilize that email to break down a list of exactly what the parent needs to bring in. So it's like, as soon as they apply, as soon as they put their information in, boom, we shoot them an email. They have an email with a list of everything that they need. And then it points them right back to the family dashboard with links as well, so that they can kind of, consistently know where to go, know what to do. And, the emails are fully custom, and it's really anything that you want. So that's kind of how one good aspect of it is that we can get lists to parents and information as needed.
I feel like oh, go ahead, Christine. Sorry.
That's all right. We also have, similar to what Matt said about reminding your parents and sending out a request information email, so that if you're verifying, let's say, those uploads, and all of a sudden you notice the parent said they uploaded a copy of their driver's license, but it wasn't a driver's license. It was, I don't know, maybe they uploaded the outside of an envelope. You can then use a request information button to send an email out to that parent saying, hey, can you please upload whatever's missing? And with that feature is you can send it out once and be done. Or again, you could set that rolling where it will send a parent an email every day until they upload that document. And then we have a notification center for you that once the parents do upload something, you could go to a specific list and see where that parent notified. So you're not going through 1,000 applicants saying, well, I asked this parent, did they upload or not? There is a queue for you to go to see when they responded to your request.
Very cool. If anybody has questions about that, please put those questions in the chat. I know that when Christine and I both work at school districts, and I remember getting phone calls from families that would say, I keep getting called every day and I want that to stop. And I would say, I would take it as a moment to empower our families and say, you have to go in, you have to either accept or reject the seed, or you have to upload the information that's required. And they would ask me to just do it for them. And that's where the empowerment comes in, when you can say, no, I'm going to show you how to do this, because it helps them in the future as well. So this is, we go back to that being clear, concise, and consistent, and having those tools that families feel comfortable with and know, hey, this is important information. So if you can train them to use that information or to use those tools, then they're going to be better off in the end. It is a heck of a lot easier for one of us to go in and just click it for them, but that does not solve the problem. So if these emails, texts, and calls can be a blessing and a curse all at once. Just make sure there was no I love, okay, so Rhonda says she loves how she can track how many times you request information. Yeah, and then, you got to wonder at some point, if you've requested it 5 times and they're not they're not replying, then maybe they're not checking their email. So maybe you want to call them, maybe you want to text them, something, reach out in a different way. So it can be really helpful to use as a tool to eliminate issues as well.
Right. Those requests, when you send out those type of things, it does record in the work history. So that if you did, as Matt says, you expired a seat, you could go back and say, well, it sent you a message for the last 2 weeks every day,
Right.
So, and the system does also have a robocall feature. Not many people enjoy getting those robocalls, but again, it does have that feature along with the text and emails that can send a message, so that if you do have a population that is harder to reach, or that you could say, we've called, we text, we send emails,
Yeah, that's
we tried to
exactly what
reach you.
Rhonda is sharing that same information. That's why she loves it, because it does record it. And nobody likes robocalls. That's why they're so effective, right? So it's like, please make this stop. You can help with that. And then you're a hero, because you helped the robocall stop. Let's talk about lotteries. So up next is just some lottery stories, how they're used, how they keep the process fair and transparent. So that, I know, is something, it's sad, but it's true. Sometimes it's a necessity to have that transparency. So I thought we could just take some time and maybe just share some uplifting, good lottery stories, and then, maybe some cautious lottery stories that we, don't want to ever see again.
I'll take this one to start, if you don't mind. So I've got several clients that whenever they run their lotteries, they have to make the running of the lotteries public. And so what we do is we do a live stream. I get on there with the client and we do a live stream, and you'll see parents join in, and we do a live stream. We go through and we do all the clicking, all the lottery mechanisms. We show all of this stuff, and it really helps the parents understand that they are getting an equitable chance. I mean, it's really a good thing. Some people don't do it. I always recommend doing it if you have the means to do it. I mean, everything is on Zoom these days, so definitely it's something that we have lots of experience with, as far as running and helping facilitate those lotteries. If anybody on this call or wants to get into lottery management and they want to start doing lotteries online, for all to view, let's chat about it, because we can definitely make it happen, and it's going to go a long way to confirm that equity with your families by actually showing them how it's done, right there on the video. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes to do, depending on what you have, but it's something that I always recommend people do if they can. So that's kind of an uplifting story, I guess.
That's a good one. So they record it. That way,
Right.
If there is any question, somebody could go back and review it.
And they post it. So it's live and recorded and then posted on their website for review. So that's something that I think is really cool. And I wish, all my children go to charter schools, and, we deal with lotteries, and they don't post those results, and I wish they would, right? So we encourage it.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell everybody though, it's very anticlimactic. It's not fun. Like, the balls are coming out of the chute. It's kind of like watching an Excel sheet sort. It's not that exciting, but it does help you feel like it is being fair.
Right.
So I'll tell you one. So a little bit about me. I worked in a school district for over 25 years and managed our open lottery choice programs using Scribbles prior to working here. Prior to using Scribbles, we have some schools in our district that the only way to get into those schools is through the lottery. They don't have a zoned or boundary school. You only get in there through lottery. And they're very popular. They have very high academic and success for their students. So at a high school level, for 7th grade, a junior, senior high, they may get almost 3,000 applicants just for 7th grade alone, which only has about 150 seats. So you can imagine doing that paper and pencil old way. First off, going through all those applications to see, do they meet the entrance requirements? So putting it in Scribbles automates that for you. Everything is uploaded to the same place. Once they're approved to go into the lottery, it makes it so much easier. Because then also our district, we have preferences. So if you're an employee and you work at that school, you get preference to bring your child there, but you still have to go through the lottery. It's not a given. Sibling preferences, military preferences. There are certain preferences that our district has in our policies. So our lottery system, once you approve, can sort all these things for you into these, so that when you run your lottery, you push a button and it's automatic. So it's electronic. Everybody gets a number. It's not these ping pong balls or pieces of paper or sticky notes that they were trying to keep track of as you're going down the list. Again, as Bridget said, it's not as pretty on the front side, but on the back side, it's really pretty when you're managing. And that's just one school. Okay. Try 86 schools who have some type of lottery process at managing all those different grade levels and that. So those are the really good things. It also helped eliminate, well, why did they get preference and I didn't? Or their lottery number is different than mine. Where am I? Because parents can get that notification you've been offered a seat or you're on a wait list, which kind of makes you funny because we get a lot of parents who ask, well, what's that mean? What's wait list? I never understood. You're waiting to get in. But the system will allow you to say, well, you're number 1 on the wait list, position 1, or you're position 152. So it's really neat how, as a district, you can either hide that or not. The other flip side of the lotteries is also we have several programs who are kind of like a lottery, but it's a ranking lottery. International Baccalaureate, for example, they have entrance requirements, essays, recommendations, which can all be collected in the system and scored by the school district. And then they put them in a ranking lottery. So basically, the higher you score, you become number 1 and 2 and 3 and go down that system. So when you think of lotteries, you have the traditional ping pong ball, who's pulled first, second, third. But there's also another lottery type system that's a ranking lottery that you could use. And then if you have pre-K, there is also a income calculator that helps randomly put your students in order, kind of like a lottery, but it's based on the income that you generate, giving out those preferences. So that it depends on your program and what you need to do. So I just wanted to make sure people knew it's not just your traditional lottery. There's a lot of things that we could do that if you have one of those different type of programs that kind of use a lottery, it's not just an accept, deny, you're in or out, that we have features that will work for you.
I think that what is amazing is how many of the things that we're talking about right now were happening prior to districts and our partners using tools. So I for one remember the paper. I remember going through paper. I remember the folders. I remember putting them in order. It's like you wonder, wow, the time that you can spend doing that. It's incredible that a tool like Scribbles can come in and just automate it. And then you have all this extra time, you know, I mean, you can actually improve your programs. You can work on, finding different programs that the district needs or wants and evaluating the ones you have. Like, you can actually do the work that means so much to families and the kids by just eliminating the lottery piece. Well, not eliminating, solving it with a tool. Using the tool.
There you go.
Not eliminating it. Maz, did you want to share anything, or do you feel like those stories really kind of covered?
Yeah, I feel like they really kind of covered it all there with each of their stories. I mean, kind of like following up with Christine, the waitlist transparency, because I know that's one big thing that people always ask about. A big thing that I hear from clients is, well, oh, that's great that you can actually display the wait list because now it'll help alleviate. Well, the idea is that it helps alleviate some of those calls from parents saying, well, where am I on the wait list? Where am I on the wait list? It'll go when they go into their family dashboard, it'll show for them there so they can see pretty much, it gives that transparency and then tries to alleviate some of those additional calls that they may have get to see where their student is on the wait list. So that was one big thing that I really do enjoy.
And some of the awkwardness too of people kind of saying, well, can't you just, my kid is so-and-so, or I'm so-and-so. Can't you just flip their application in the middle? No, you can't. You really can't. The lottery's been run. It's up there. It's fair for all to see. And, there's an audit trail with everything. So
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. It also eliminates when you were doing it paper. Well, they cheated, or
Yeah.
that principal never liked my family, so that's why I didn't get picked first. It's done electronically. It's not. It's the computer. You can't say it was this person, that person, or someone else.
Right. And the audit trail makes it very apparent that nobody's going in, and because it would show if somebody were going in there and changing something. So,
Right.
But let's keep it positive. Let's move on to when families are doing this. So when we've looked at trends within our applications, what are the most common hours that applications are being submitted to, or people are logging on to check the family dashboard? What are you finding?
Oh, in my experience, I would say, it's that early evening, nighttime. So between 5 to 10 p.m., we'll call it, would be the most common time range we see applications are really submitted. So this tends to be, when most parents or guardians are at home, it's the end of the night after they've got the kids down, cooked food, all of that kind of good stuff. Now, let's say, for example, there is an application that's set to open tonight at midnight, September 30th. There still are those parents that will go in at 12 o'clock, 12:01 to submit those applications. Our site is, once that application window opens, they can submit at any time of the day. And then the nice thing with our site is it's mobile friendly. So, if you don't have that easy, your parents don't have that easy access to a computer readily available to them, they can access it on their phone to submit those applications. And then kind of tying it back in between with the texts and emails. So when we set up those rolling emails to go out or rolling request notifications to go out, those tend to go out between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., depending on where you're located. So that also leads to parents signing in to check their notifications and go and accept their seat offer or upload the documents that have been requested of them. So again, I would say between that sweet spot of early dinner to nighttime is really when we see the most applications or the dashboards are checked.
Thanks.
I also see a lot very first thing in the morning, usually prior to everybody else getting up. Families, just like I do, sit down with that first cup of coffee where it's quiet. And that's when people are, again, going through emails that came in maybe last night and things like that, that they're like, oh, the lottery was last night, so now I'll log in and find out. So it's really, really convenient to families. with that 24/7 access.
Yeah. And imagine how many calls and emails and inquiries it eliminates for districts. So they don't have to get that call. Families can log on and check themselves. So again, going back to empowering our families, very important.
Yep. And that's one of those things. Again, I did this for a very long time in our district, that we would start telling parents in the beginning when they call, well, where am I? You ran the lottery. Did I get in? What wait list? I said, everything's on your dashboard. If you start repeating that, one, for FERPA violations, because I don't know who's on the other end of that phone. I don't want to say, well, yeah, Susie Smith got accepted into ABC school, because now I've just told you where she's going to school and I don't know who you are. But also, once I start saying that, they stop calling, because it's that family dashboard has all their information. So you, again, empowering your parents, and after the first year, maybe 2 of using the systems, they know and they stop calling as much. So it's really helpful for you as well.
And then when you do get to talk with them, it's about things that are probably, more of a concern that they can't find out online, that they really do need that human touch. So that human voice on the other end, but not for that. So I think that helps us collect our, ourselves and save ourselves for those times where they really do need us. All right. I think my last question is just what have you seen out there? What's pretty unique? Are districts using choice in kind of a cool way?
I'll start. For Norfolk, Virginia, they use ScribCoins actually for homeschooling. So not an actual, students aren't really attending a district school, they're doing homeschooling. So they use that to collect all of the document evidence that the student made gains towards whatever grades, and they collect them certain quarterly throughout the year. Upload your evidence that your student is making a year's worth of growth over the school year. They also use the choice to collect documents such as religious exemptions, and I can't think of the other one right now. But it's not your traditional choice as far as I want to get into a school, I want a lottery. They are collecting data that they must monitor for the state and audit purposes that way. So it's not your traditional choice lottery setup. It's
Well,
kind of a neat thing.
So the district could say it's time to upload your evidence, and then they upload it using the upload feature, and it just sticks with their application.
Correct. They have a little form that says, yes, they use it for, I'm entering into homeschool. So a little collection of information that I want to take my child to homeschool. Once the parent's done that, now they have the record and they can push out a notification. It's time to upload your evidence. And then they also have an exit application. So I'm leaving homeschool. I want to go back to the district school or whatever. So again, they have all that evidence so that when the child comes back to the public school, that school knows already that they don't have to give out that exam, because the evidence is there that proves that, yes, that child's coming back and they're in 3rd grade.
Okay. That is really neat. That is a unique way to use it. Anybody else have a unique way?
Yeah, I want to chime in, and I'm going to mention something that's unique, not only for clients and choice, but really for the services that we provide in general. So a couple of years ago, something happened. We had a black swan event, right? We had a pandemic, and we had many clients utilizing Choice, our Choice platform, already at that point. And then all of a sudden, the pandemic happens, and now we have to pivot to virtual learning. This wasn't really a thing until the pandemic happened. So right away, we had clients thinking of ways to get those virtual learners onboarded, and they already had the platform in place. So, with the platform in place, we were able to pivot really quickly and get those virtual enrollment applications up so that they could really not miss a beat. I mean, they would go from, having full, enrollment to now we're taking these applications for virtual learning online. So it was just a really unique pivot that we had to kind of do on the fly. And some clients really really did very well with these programs. So that was a kind of a unique thing.
Yeah, and a lot of districts have stuck with their virtual programs. They've kept them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Maz, do you have anything unique to share?
Yeah, so another one that we have, again, I'll kind of go back to Gaston County Schools. They have one school that, so they run their lottery for just this one particular school, but they have pathways within that school. So there's like an engineering pathway or technology pathway. So essentially, we run that lottery for those students all for one school, but within the actual application, they have questions basically asking them to rank their preferences or their pathway preferences. So essentially, when we do that, we also display that on the lottery page. So instead of it being 3 or 4 separate lotteries, again, we run it as one lottery, but we then have the ability to offer the pathways to those students, and they're able to see, have all their seat offers, but break down the pathway programs that the students are interested in. So I think that's one interesting way that I've seen the choice utilized as well.
Yeah. I know a district in Colorado uses it for bus transportation as well. I think that's kind of a unique.
Yes,
Yeah.
St. Vrain, they're using it for bus transportation. That was one big deal for them, and they're really going pretty hard into that, and they love it.
Yeah, they've been really happy with it. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with me today about all of the things that Scrib Choice has to offer, not just the tool itself, but just the opportunities for kids and the ways school districts are utilizing it. You guys are on the front lines there, talking and learning and hearing what people have to say. So thank you for taking the time to share all that with us. Myra, back to you.
Hi, thank you so much to the panel for that informative session. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure the audience did too. Notice the game code down below for this session on the bottom right of the screen, which is communication. Be sure to add it to the event game feature for a chance to win a prize. Please fill out the survey at the bottom of this page to let us know how we did and earn more points for the event game as well. Our next session for today is lottery management you can bet on without losing your hair. It begins at 2 p.m. ET, and we'll learn all about lottery best practices and learnings from Prince William County Public Schools and the Scribbles implementation team. We hope to see you there. Thank you for attending.